will be the coldest air of the season for Ontario. And with that, we are looking at high temperatures into the minus double digits and wind chills into the minus 20s. And in fact,
looks like the weather is calling for a polar vortex to come through, and that means some of the coldest weather of the season in the area. So I think it's a really good time for us to go out and do some winter camping. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just pick up my backpack. Probably going to go with the biggest one because it is winter camping. So I probably could use the extra space. So next thing we're going to do is pick out our shelter and our cook system. So probably just going to go with the big teepee tent. I do have a new floor for this one, so a nice footprint. So should do pretty well in the winter. And then I'm probably going to go with the big winter pot that we usually use and bring the Hyperlite as well, MSR Hyperlite, just in case we need to melt some snow and we can't get our fire going in the morning. Nice to have a beer when you're packing. Have all of our gear spread out here, and all this stuff has to make it into the backpack. So I think I'm going to go with the big one just because this sleeping bag does pack up really big. It's a minus 30 bag. So we'll get into his stuff sack and then we'll go from there. Alright, there you go. Sleeping bag and sleeping clothes in here. It's a big boy. So it's sleeping bag on the bottom and then everything else on top. I don't even know if I can get this thing in here. Okay, we're out in the woods and going to be spending the night out here. It's not too cold right now, probably about -5 and snowing a little bit, but it should be getting down to -16 to -20 tonight, so pretty cold. Okay, I think we found our campsite. Just going to be setting up right here in this flat area. And I do see some standing dead trees around, which will make it a little bit easier for us to start a fire. Not really enough snow, but I did bring snow stakes, so we're just going to try to pound these into the ground, and hopefully it'll keep up the teepee tent. Got all the 4 corners staked out. Now I'm just gonna put in the center pole and hopefully we can get the tent up. So it's gonna have to make my way inside there and figure out exactly how I can put this in to the shelter. I also had the footprint set up inside the tent here, so we do have a nice spot for us to lay out all our stuff so it's not all in the snow. And it was pretty easy to set up. You just kind of peg it into the corners, same as the corners of the teepee tent. And the pole just kind of sits on top with a nice reinforced area. Lucky, a lot of birch bark here. Whew. Cutting wood is a lot of work. Either those winter camping and associated polar vortex, I'm sweating. Gonna have to take off a couple of layers. Don't need to sweat and then freeze later tonight. Whew. Now it's time to split them up, and the sun's down, so I have to set up a light and be careful. really nice to have a fire to sit beside. It's warm. It's probably only 0 degrees here right by the fire. Don't even have to wear that much clothes. Whew. Should probably melt some snow for water as well. For dinner tonight, we have a steak and some steak spice and got some carrots. Not entirely sure how we're going to make the carrots yet though, but we have them. So it's going to open this up first, put some seasoning on it. Ooh, gotta make sure we don't spill our water. Oh, it's starting to get a little bit cold. This polar vortex is rolling in. Gotta put on an extra layer. Little burn in the middle. Cut that off. Okay. I think the game plan for the carrots is just to toss them into the water here and give them a minute or two to soak. Yeah. Check our carrots. Yep, boiling. Alright, let's eat. Okay, and it's dinner time. A little burned, but it's still pretty good. Try these carrots. Cooked really well. Soft, but still a little bit crispy inside. I have a little bit of dessert to make. These are Chinese glutinous rice balls, and just gonna boil them up in the water. They taste really good. Think 8's enough? Nah, we'll do 10. Should be okay. But what am I going to do with the other 6? We should just eat them all. We'll eat them all. So I had a pretty slow start to this winter season and didn't really do much winter camping or anything. But hopefully we'll get in a couple more trips this year, and this coming weekend is also the Hamilton Adventure Expo, so going to be taking a look at that. Hopefully I'll get out west to do a trip or two, do some ski touring out there, put together a ski video, and just enjoy myself. And then, yeah, I think in March going to be busy with some family stuff, so probably won't be getting out too much then. Well, problem when you melt snow is sometimes you get things like sticks, twigs, and stuff in there. There are a couple of small leaves as well. It's okay. Adds flavor. Our glutinous rice balls are done. A little bit overcooked though, so they exploded. And the sesame is just all over in the soup. Still delicious though. It's about 9 o'clock right now, and just finished using up all of our firewood. So, gonna hop into the tent, get ready to sleep. Just took off this layer, gonna put it inside my sleeping bag to keep it warm in case we need to put it on later. I left the thermometer outside, and we'll see what the temperature gets down to. It was about -7, -8 when I got into the tent. So, I don't know. We'll see if it gets down to that -16 that was forecasted. Okay, gonna get into the sleeping bag and then go to sleep. Good morning. Waking up just now. It's about 8:30 in the morning, and slept pretty well. This sleeping bag is really warm. It goes down to it's like a -30 sleeping bag, and I don't think it got down to that cold last night. Maybe around -16 at most, -19. So we'll go outside and check the temperature. So it's -11 right now, and it got down to -14. So I guess it's not the coldest day of the polar vortex yet, but still pretty cool out. So going to light up the stove here, melt some snow. So these white gas stoves, they work until like -30, -40, and still perfectly fine. And what I'm doing right now is just priming the stove, so heating up the coils, and then once that's done, you can turn it on, and you can see the blue flame. So we're just gonna wait for the snow to melt here and the water to boil. Usually takes about 20 minutes to get from snow to boiling. So just gonna let that keep going, and I'm gonna take down the tent and pack up my sleeping bag so we're not just waiting around. Ooh, got a ton of frost on the sleeping bag on the side where I was breathing, so it did get cold. fact, they're pretty small for a big tent like that. That was a little bit faster than I expected. Water is already boiling. So gonna make some milk tea and dumplings for breakfast. Dumplings. Yep, cooked well. Okay, we're ready to go. Got everything packed up, and it's going to be a little 1 or 2 kilometer hike back to the car. It's about -10 right now, not going to get much warmer, but that's okay because we're heading out today. So, we'll see you in the next video.